amidst the snow-capped mountains of Japan, when the wind cuts through the skin and silence reigns in the frozen forests, a figure is said to appear. Tall, elegant, with a beauty never seen before. Her name is Yuki-Onna, the Snow Lady. Yuki-Onna, in Japanese, her name literally means snow woman. She is more than a legend. She is a spirit, a cold and silent apparition that appears on the coldest winter nights. It is said that her presence is the very warning of death. She walks among the white mist, floating without leaving a trace. Some believe that she is a yokai, a supernatural entity linked to the forces of nature. Others swear that she is the soul of a woman who froze to death and never accepted her fate. The story of the Yuki-Onna is as old as the first villages that faced the cruel winters of Japan. She appears in oral records since the Muromachi period, between the 14th and 16th centuries. On the coldest nights, when fire was barely enough, to warm the body, families would gather around the embers and tell her story. She was a warning to those who dared to go out during a blizzard, a reminder that nature can be beautiful, but also deadly. Passed down from village to village, from generation to generation, the figure of the Yuki-Onna gained strength as a symbol of fear of the cold and of what hides behind the snow. One of the most famous tales of the Yuki-Onna is the story of a woodcutter and his young apprentice who were caught in a snowstorm. Unable to return home, they found shelter in a small cabin in the middle of the forest. During the early morning, when the cold seemed to freeze them into silence, a woman appeared. Tall, dressed in white, with skin as pale as the snow itself, she approached the woodcutter, blew on him and killed him without leaving any marks. Then she looked at the boy, but instead of taking his life, she left him alive and said that if he told anyone what he had seen, she would come back and kill him too. Time passed. The young man grew up, left the village where he lived and started a new life. He ended up marrying a beautiful, serene woman with fair skin and a gentle presence. They had children and started a family. Years later, on a winter night, he remembered what he had experienced, and without thinking much, he told his wife the secret he had kept for so long. She listened to him in silence, and then her eyes changed, her expression turning cold. It was then that he realized that the person he had married and built a family with was Yuki-Onna herself. At the time, because he had told her everything that had happened that day, she could have killed him. But for the sake of her children, she left him alive once again and disappearing. The Yuki-Onna, besides being a frightening figure in folklore, represents the most cruel and merciless side of nature. She shows how something can be beautiful on the outside, but still poses a great risk. Her image is linked to winter, a time of intense cold, silence, and often death. Therefore, she also symbolizes destiny and the consequences of our choices, especially when we break promises. In Japanese traditions, it is common for female figures to carry this duality. They can be seen as protectors or as threats, depending on the context. The Yuki-Onna is an example of this. While she can show compassion, she can also destroy. She's not just a frightening character, but rather a representation of natural forces that are beyond human control. The Yuki-Onna does not have a single way of acting. Her stories change according to the region of Japan. In some versions, she's a deadly figure who appears during storms and kills travelers lost in the cold. In others, she is described as someone who protects children who have gotten lost in the snow, guiding them back home. There are also legends in which she appears as a lonely woman, looking for someone with whom she can share her frozen eternity. The Yuki-Onna's behavior changes depending on the place where she is told, sometimes cruel, sometimes compassionate. Today, the name Yuki-Onna is still very present in Japan, although the stories about her have changed over the years. Her figure continues to be part of Japanese folklore. She's still remembered in local traditions, in tales passed down from generation to generation, especially in villages where winter is harsh. The legend of Yuki-Onna continues to be part of the collective imagination, being seen as a representation of the relentless forces of nature. The next time a blizzard unexpectedly appears, be careful. It could just be the cold, or it could be the presence of Yuki-Onna, the snow lady. And if you liked the video, leave your like and subscribe to the channel.